Okay, what I'm going to talk about today is for more about a day in my life. Is so back when I went through this medical scare, back when I was 23, 24 years old. Before they diagnosed me officially with pseudotumor, that means fake brain tumor. They thought I had a legit brain tumor. So, what did the doctors at Gunderson Lutheran told me? Even the ones in neurology. They told me I was going to die. They said, if this is a brain tumor, you're probably not going to make it through surgery. You're going to die. And I was bawling my eyes out. And I was thinking to myself, I was too young to pass away. And the thought of, how you say, dying on all alone without having a spouse at the time, you know, it made me really cry. And then the doctors legitimately told me, oh, by the way, you should be planning your own funeral. And then I think 2 or 3 weeks after that, they told me, this was after I had a dream of my deceased grandmother, Roberts, came in a dream and told me, you're not going to die. And she was hugging. And it looked like I was standing over myself sleeping, you know. So, she kind of said, you're not going to die. And then all of a sudden, the doctors told me, oh, by the way, you're not going to die. This is a fake brain tumor. All you do is take these medications. And I was taking medications. The first one did not work because they wanted the fluid getting out of your head and off of your spinal cord. Because if not treated with pseudotumor, you can go completely blind. I'll say it right now. So I did not go completely blind, as you would see. So I was on a leave in Walmart. They told me that I better get back within 30 days, otherwise I would not have a job. So also at the time, the neurologists were suggesting that I go get permanent full disability and not work a day anymore. And I didn't want to back then because I was afraid of gaining a lot of weight. So they also said that I should lose some weight back then. And my brother back then, before he met that bitch that he's with, he was all worried about me. He wasn't drinking booze back then. All he was doing was worrying about going out hunting, working on his trucks. He wasn't even worried about getting a girlfriend or settling down. He was just, so. And he wasn't even drinking beer. He wasn't chewing tobacco like he is now. He wasn't trying to dress and act like our cousin Joe. So, um, and he back then complained about a lot of people that would go out spending their money and going out getting drunk every night and not having any money. So, um, so anyway, back then with the pseudo tumor, when I came back to work, I was on lifting restrictions. So, and I believe, yeah, even the doctors yelled at me with my knee condition saying I shouldn't be pulling pallets and lifting because I got a bad right knee. So back then, what happened was after a week or two later of me being there, they trained me in at Walmart for department manager of dairy frozen to substitute for Lynn while she was on vacation for a week. And she told me start. And when she trained me, she taught me how to yell over the walkie, Daniel. So, yeah, to get him his attention, and she said, make sure you have room for the new truck when it comes in, because otherwise they'll send an assistant manager to chew you out. You don't want an assistant manager paying a visit to you. And I was the one back then having to order the left stuff for the store to sell at Walmart, being a regular associate. So basically, yeah, in the fall they said that I fully recovered from pseudotumor, and they said if there's no symptoms within 2 or 3 years or a year, you'll probably never get it again. But if it comes back, it could. That's what they said. But back then they didn't recommend me even getting knocked up or anything. Let's say. So they said that would put more pressure on the spinal cord. But so yeah, and I think when I came back to work from Walmart from pseudotumor, while they were still checking out for me, I was still bawling, thinking that I was gonna die. He thought, and I think my boss, that was technically my long distance cousin, came to me saying, "Well, aren't you still here? You have nothing to cry about. You're still alive." And they said, "Oh, we're not at your funeral," which was a good point. So, and I kind of look at it, and like after that, I think like during that time I was doing like any Lutheran, you would hold on to your Bible and hoping that you wouldn't die, basically. So my Bible was one in, I think, Norwegian language, so I couldn't read it. So basically, I had lost the faith because no one was praying for me during this. So I think the only one I got told that was praying for me was my grandma and my late Aunt Sue. And people were already playing with how they were wanting me to be buried as basically a Lutheran and a Catholic. And I'm like, I don't want to be buried as two different religions. You know. And thank God I never planned my own funeral back then, because, yeah, I'm still alive to this day. But, so, like, after that, I had some thoughts when I was 25, even to 26, that, it's time to find a guy and seriously settle down. Because that medical scare just teaches you life can be short, and kind of just enjoy what you have in life. But, and then also my brother got, I think, when I was 25, he got peer pressured by his coworkers at Ashley Furniture and, our cousin Matt and Joe into, going out partying and getting drunk. So they all told him, don't you want more friends? This is the only way you're going to get friends, if you go out getting drunk and partying it up. And he admitted, not around our parents, but only to me, he just wanted friends. And he didn't have much friends when he was not drinking. And I'm like, that's no way. You could have made friends without going out and getting drunk. That's just my opinion. You could just be yourself. You could have been not caving into peer pressure. So my brother literally almost died, and there's two different stories with this. He said Jaime's girlfriend, who has been flirting with him before he started partying and going out drinking, to currently, I guess he says she still flirts with him while she's dating Jaime. And I'm like, she don't sound loyal to any guy, really. And I guess he said that she letted him sleep in her, I guess, living room instead of outside. And he said his and there was another story that she called the ambulance and saved his life. But then around our family, he turns and he says, well, no, it was Shameless Dad that did. And another story, it is that her dad let him lie there to die when Jaime's girlfriend saved him. So I don't know which story is true. There's two different stories. And he said Shameless Dad left him out to sleep in the cold truck during below zero. So did his drinking buddies. I'm like, they're not really your friends if they did that to you. I'm sorry. And there's like the other story you said about Samuel is which these are all crazy. They're so different. He said like, oh, Shamla forced him to stay and sleep overnight at her parents' house when he wanted to come home. And then around her, he says the total opposite. So I don't know. Like, I'll tell you that right now. And then he said, like, her sister don't like him and wants him not around Shamula. But then around our family, he says totally different. He says, like, her family and her are crazy. But then around our family, he says differently. I don't know. So, and I guess he said one time, she said, oh, her sister does not have kids. Well, then when she was around, he said, oh, her sister does have kids. And we're like, which is the real answer? And then he said, oh, he's seen her with another man before, but she claims she does not have a brother. Well, then around our family, he changes his story and says, oh, she has a brother. And I'm like, funny, you said she did not have a brother. Now you're saying she has a brother. Then the other story he has said is that her brother stole her Quick Trip uniform clothes, the pants and the shirt on her, and went out and slept in his truck. And then he changed that story to her father stole her Quick Trip uniform, pants, and shirt, and slept in the vehicle, not in the house. He also said that she quitted her job at the nursing home and was only working at Quick Trip and was not going on in schooling for anything else. Then some years later, I heard from Miss Hong, our old teacher, and she said, oh, Shamla graduated from schooling. And I'm like, what? This is new to me. He said she wasn't even going on. And he's been saying that Shamla punches him in the eye, punches him below the belt, and in the stomach if she doesn't get her way. He's admitted that she threatened him and forced him to go to parties, forced him to eat stuff, forced him to dress a certain way, whether he likes it or not. But then around our family, he doesn't talk about this. But he does act scared of her. And, I don't know. So, he has said, I think, and that's what concerned me. And it's like, there's no black eye on him. And it's like, if she's abusing you, why haven't you called the cops on her? And the other story that he said was, that he's the one not wanting to move out of our parents' house, and she threatened him and saying that he has to go along with her and look for a house and buy a house or else. But then around our family, he acts like it was his idea and he agreed with it. I don't know. That's what I mean by the two different stories. And he says, oh yeah, Shameless crazy, da da da. He calls her a fat hog, a bitch, a pig, a cow. to his drinking buddy, and he says he wants nothing to do with Shamula, and he wants to ask out Jaime's girlfriend, or this waitress he talks a lot about. He says that, which is the only thing we know about this waitress, is she is older than Shamula and skinnier than Shamula. And he says he's gonna dump Shamula real soon, is what he tells his drinking buddy on the phone. And that he's gonna ask out this waitress right in front of Shamula after dumping her. He says he has no plans on marrying her. This is what our family does not know about. And he says he wants to have kids with this waitress, which whom he admitted to his drinking buddy he doesn't talk to. So, and he knows nothing about this waitress. He doesn't know if she's single, married, has kids, and anything. And that's the thing, we don't know if this waitress works at the Black River Falls Denny's or the Toma Denny's. We don't know anything else what this waitress looks like. He talks a lot about her. And yeah. And then what surprised me was when he said that Shamla Antos, his fiance right now, proposed to him, and he never proposed to her. And there's where you could tell in the pictures he don't look happy around her in that. In a lot of them. You know, and I think like when Jaime's girlfriend messaged him, he went and pranced around showing us Jaime's girlfriend's Facebook profile. And Jaime's girlfriend is an Asian. And with Shamula, he never did that. He was all smiles when it was Jaime's girlfriend that he claimed found him on Facebook and somehow gotten his phone number without him giving it to her, which I get a little suspicious. It's like, how could that be? You know? And then I guess, like, with Shamula, he don't dress like he used to. I mean, right now you could see it's a third version of Kevin, and it's like, yeah, because I think, like, when my brother first went out partying and drinking, he used to punch holes in the walls and cursing and swearing. Yeah, with her, he ain't doing that, but he ain't like his old self, where his old self would have told her, don't boss me around or control me, because he says that Shamla Antos is way too controlling and bossy, is what he tells his drinking buddies. And that's the main reason why he's wanting to leave her, is what, you know. But, so, like right now I started Picker's Place in 2016 was because, like I said, when I started doing art snowmen, people were suggesting that I could make a living off of this. So that's what I started doing, was to make snowmen to resell. And now, they pretty much evolved into foam snowmen. Now I am trying to get into buying antiques and collectibles to resell on eBay, so I can make a living that way too. So I started YouTube while I was at Sears. So, cause, you know, I got started because I watched a video on the Grim Experience channel by Grim. He also has Super Silly Pop and his toy review channel. He has 3 channels. So he was saying how hard it is to get started on YouTube and to get your channel monetized. He said you need, first off, 1,000 subscribers to get your channel monetized, and about 4,000 views. I got the 4,000 views already, though. But, So I'm like, wow, that sounds interesting. I'll take the challenge and see. And he said you can film and talk about whatever you want. People will watch it, but he said nowadays it's real hard to get the subscribers and you gotta work. I think he said really hard to get them subscribers, which is true. So, even from what I learned, and he said, he gradually says on his channel about, you don't want to upset a YouTuber that has a bigger amount of subscribers than you. He said you want to be on their good side so they can help you push your channel. So, and that's what I kind of take the faith in is